Alright, this next section is called Attack Strategies and Tactics of the CIA. When the military turns these radio frequency weapons up to high, if you are meditating or lying down while breathing deep, you could feel sometimes a very large stream of energy running through you. So it will feel very drastic because you are meditating and focused on the energy. So it may be a little unsettling. However, the same thing happens all day long when you are at work or out in public, yet you do not notice this because you are preoccupied with other things. And a great deal of this plasma energy will just go right through you. So do not let this bother you when you are meditating. And while you are meditating, you should use these large streams of energy to your advantage because it is going to be easier to clear the implants that you have in your body when they have turned these machines up to high. So do not let these larger streams of energy intimidate you, and know that it will actually be easier to remove the implants when they have the machines turned up to high. So as you breathe deep, you will feel the large stream of plasma energy coursing through you. So your focus should be on removing the buildups and the implants, and you do not just want to focus on breathing with the energy stream because it will just move through your system on its own anyway. So it's a big waste of time if you wake up in the morning and you lay there half asleep and you just kind of breathe with the energy and you leave any type of implants alone. You're going to have to wake up, do some exercise, and work very hard to lift the implants out. You will need to make an effort to clear yourself of plasma that has begun to implant. And these are the areas that will get hot or cause pain later. So you want to put pressure on those areas and lift from those areas. When I first began to use the different positions of meditation together, it worked really well. And so well, in fact, that the military caught on to it and realized that they had to do something to put a stop to it. So they began to hit me wherever I wasn't looking. So if I was meditating on my sides, they would hit me in the head. And all this means is, if you are focused on lifting a large implant that is formed in your thigh, for example, all the military has to do is take someone who has a large implant in their sinus and then link them to you. Then while you're busy lifting the implant in your leg, quickly the plasma would begin to flood into your sinus area. So suddenly you have a buildup of plasma in your head that is preventing you from breathing easily. So you could be fine 1 second and then be flooded with huge amounts of plasma the next. So the military keeps droves of loser agents on standby, each severely planted in different places in their bodies. And they are all going to be used against us at different times for strategic purposes. So the military began to use an agent who was planted in the sinus and face area. And they would connect him to me every time I would turn on my sides to pull the implants out of the sides of my body and my legs. And they did this so I would falsely believe that it was not smart to do this. Because every time I did this, I would have this problem with all this plasma building up in my sinus and chest area. So for a while, I thought that meditating on your sides, when they were projecting a lot of energy at you, was wrong. Because it would cause too much plasma to come out of your lower body at once. And it would all flood the top and get caught around your chest and your sinus area. So if you're meditating and ever experience a sudden buildup of plasma somewhere in your body, it is always because an agent, or a few of them, have turned on the machines and have connected themselves to you. And this is their plasma buildup that has suddenly infected you. Same thing with a hardened implant. If suddenly a hardened implant appears that wasn't there a minute ago, it's due to this connection between the agent and you. So it is their messed up state and not something you've done wrong concerning your position or your meditation schedule. So understand that they have a house full of agents who are called into the machine room to be linked to you throughout the day. Now, understand that a major tactic the CIA uses, and that is the cause and effect program. If you do something they do not like, then they will do this. And what they usually do is hit you by turning the machines up to high and directing a lot of energy at you. And then using their implants linked to you to hurt or scare you. And they often do this when you're out in public. So it is always best to ignore these agents. That is some of the best advice I could give you when dealing with the military. Ignore them even though they try to make this impossible through these gang stalking and harassment programs. Even though their presence causes you pain and anger, you still must learn to ignore them. And I promise, as time goes on, you will get more used to the energy. You'll get more used to these agents, and ignoring them will be a lot easier to do. However, they know that you are in pain due to these energy weapons being directed at you. And they also know that their presence can hurt you due to these implants that they all have. And this is the reason they do this, because they enjoy messing up your life. And they enjoy seeing people in pain. And the CIA trains all their people to do this, so they could eventually get you to act out and cause problems for yourself. And this is how they make your life unmanageable and take away everything that you have. So if you are in a public place and they are acting in a way to get you angry at them, and you end up giving them a dirty look or telling them off, first off, the idiots love this. And second, the military only harasses you to get this negative reaction from you. Because they know from experience, when they could get you angry, they could get you to make mistakes. They could get you to forget things. They could get you into car accidents. They could get you into fights. And then they could come and arrest you. However, if you ignore them, they lose. And they hate that more than anything else you could do. So ignore the military insects at all costs. This is why only scumbag losers are selected to do this. Because this is the only thing that they could do well. Cause problems and annoy people. So don't let these degenerates win. Another tactic is for them to harass you. So you will react with anger, give them a dirty look, tell them off, and then they can hit you with the energy weapons as a punishment. And this is the way they program people. And what happens is that you will begin to question, hey, was this my fault? And are they justified in hitting me? Because I did tell a few of them off. So you start thinking, maybe it was my fault. And then if you continue to allow this self-doubt in your mind, the pain tends to get worse because you are paying more attention to it. And the military knows from experience that this is the best time when they can get people to panic, when they start to believe that they did something wrong. And when you begin to panic, all these agents around you will begin to act very happy, or they will begin to act very hostile and threatening and attempt to bully you. So it gets worse and worse. And they call that getting into your head. However, if you ignore them and they hit you with the energy and the weird feelings start, it's much easier to ignore these feelings and they soon go away. So a big part of this is a mind game. But by looking around at a bunch of these loser agents, getting pissed off at some of them, telling some of them off, and then getting hit is the best way they found that they could scare and program people. So it's best to ignore them at all times, even though they go out of their way to make this difficult to do. And this also includes when you're at home. Chances are you have a neighborhood full of these people. So if you're at home working or meditating and they start acting out around you, they will peel out in front of your house. Some agents will walk out into their yard and start yelling trigger words at each other. And they do this to sidetrack you, get you angry, and focused on them instead of what you need to do, which is spending time with your family, or finishing up a project on your house, or working on something. And again, if you let them get into your head and start thinking about a bunch of weird things that they triggered you to think about, they win, and it will go on all day. However, if you ignore them, it will usually go on for about 10 or 20 minutes and then that's it. So ignore them and do not let these agents get into your head.